Hello there, this is Mr. Will here coming to you via video lesson on Monday, March 30th, 2020 for the group Denominators! Sorry Ryan, had to do it. I want you guys to know that I miss you greatly and that I'm excited about doing these video lessons and kind of connecting with you again and leading you through important concepts and skills through these lessons. Some days it will be a new lesson, other days it will be a lesson building off of a concept or skill that we did the previous day or days before. So each day on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, I will be uploading a video lesson such as this. I ask that you view it, and then I'm going to kick it to you to do some independent work. Now, as you work independently, please know that you are not alone. You can email me directly, and I will respond as quickly as I can, within the hour at the longest. Or you can log in from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for a video conference call where we can talk directly about specific questions and comments that you may have, and we can work through them together. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, what I'd like to do is talk about how to use linear equations in slope-intercept form. Now, there's actually 3 steps to do this. Step number 1 is to identify the slope. Step number 2, to find the y-intercept. And step number 3 is to write an equation using y equals mx plus b. Now, that equation, y equals mx plus b, this one, this should look familiar to you, okay? Because that is a linear equation. We've talked about linear equations and we've used linear equations. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using these linear equations in slope-intercept form. Now, I have 2 specific examples that I'd like to share with you, and then your independent work that you're going to be doing is going right along with that. And then tomorrow, we'll build off of that and continue to grow and develop these. So the first problem is to write an equation of a line that passes through the point -1 and 3 and has the slope of -4. Now, step number 1, as we went through the process, is to identify the slope. Now, looking at that, wait a minute, it gives us the slope. It says the slope right in the problem is -4. Step number 2 is to find the y-intercept. Now, this one is a little bit trickier, but I know that you can do it. We're going to substitute the slope and the coordinates for the given point in that equation, y equals mx plus b. Now, what we're going to do is we know that the slope is -4, so we're going to plug that in for the m. And we know right from the problem that y is 3 and x, what does x equal? Oh, that's right, Garrett. X equals -1. Okay? And what we're going to be left with is plus b. So we can solve that and solve for b. Okay? How would we do that? Well, we're going to isolate the variable. In doing so, we can find that -1 equals b, or b equals -1. Okay? We can multiply these two, -4 times -1, and then we would divide. Okay? Now, we can take this information, b equals -1, and we can write an equation of the line. We know the equation is y equals mx plus b. We can take the information from the problem and what we solved, and we're going to write it as y equals -4x plus, -1. Okay? And there you go. We followed the 3 steps. Number 1, identifying the slope. Number 2, finding the y-intercept. And number 3, writing the equation using y equals mx plus b. in order to use the linear equation in slope-intercept form. Now, there's one more thing that we're going to do today, and that's writing an equation for the line that passes through -2, 5, and 2, -1. How do we do that? Well, we are going to write an equation of the line that passes through these. We're going to calculate the slope. Now, if you remember, slope can be found by using the equation m equals m² minus, m2 minus y2 divided by x2 minus x1. We are going to find the y-intercept. We're going to calculate the slope by plugging in the information from our problem. So this can be written as m equals y2 would be -1, y1 would be, that's right, 5, divided by x2, which would be 2, minus -2 here, okay? And what we can do is we can simplify this down, and this equals, that's right, -6 divided by 4, okay? Or, when you simplify that, that could equal -3 over 2. -3 over 2, okay? Now, we can find the y-intercept using the slope and the point -5 and, -2 and 5. We go back to that equation, this linear equation, y equals mx plus b. We take y equals mx plus b. And what we can do is we can plug in our 5 from here, y equals 5. And we can plug in m. M is the slope that we found from our slope-intercept form, -3 over 2. And we can keep, 2, it would be -2 because we're using -2, 5. -2 would be x. Okay? And we could put parentheses around it because a negative and a negative. And b would be the slope. So we're going to add plus b. Now we're solving for b. Okay? Can anyone do this problem here? 5 equals -3 over 2 times -2 plus b. Well, if you work through that, you can substitute the problems and solve 2 equals b. Did you get that? I know you did, Liam. Now we can write an equation for the line since we know what the value for b is. Y equals mx plus b, where y equals -3 over 2 x plus b. So really, if you look at these two examples, what we're trying to do is we're trying to find the m and the b, the value for m and the value for b. Okay, so that when we can plug in the x and the y for any of the different values, we have our answers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some problems now that you can find underneath of Monday, March 30th, and you can practice these two concepts with the questions that I give you. And you can do this in one of two ways. Number one, you can copy and download what I've sent you and type in using a text box your answers and email me back what you've done. Or a second option is you can write down your work neatly on loose leaf, take a picture, and email it to me that way. But again, you are responsible for the work that we are doing, and it is going to be graded and entered into the grade book. So please do your absolute best on all the work that is being given to you. If you have any questions, please reach out to me either email or during the office hours of 9 to 10 a.m. I'll see you tomorrow. Good luck.